Let me give you a little story. There was a horse. One man was standing behind the horse, and for some reason, the horse got irritated. तो क्या करेगा? और दुलत्ती मारेगा. मारा. अब ये बताइए, ये कर्म हुआ कि नहीं? एक्शन हुआ. उसने दुलत्ती मारा. But is this a karma? अगर ये कर्मा है तो यही काम एक मनुष्य करता है, उसको किसी पे थोड़ी इरिटेशन हो जाती है तो जाके उसको लात मारता है. इज दैट कर्मा? इफ दैट इज ऑल्सो कर्मा, then what is the difference between what the horse did and what the man did? फर्क तो है. It's very clear कि there is a difference. What is the difference? The difference is the horse is programmed to do that. कोई चॉइस नहीं है. उसके पीछे खड़े होकर कोई इरिटेट करता है, अटैक. मगर जो मनुष्य काम करता है उसको कई ऑप्शंस हैं. कर्तुम वा अकर्तुम वा अन्यथा कर्तुम वा. ये काम कर भी सकता है, ना भी कर सकता है, और दूसरे ढंग से भी कर सकता है. He has a choice. Something irritated him. He can keep quiet, walk away. He can shout at the other person. He can also try to irritate the other person. Or he can do what he did. He had a choice. When you have a choice in doing something, technically that becomes karma. There are many words that we use commonly for which there are multiple meanings. Karma is one of them. Loosely translated, karma is action. कोई भी काम करो, कोई भी कर्म करो, कोई भी एक्शन करो. Technically speaking, it is that action that you do where you had a choice and you picked a choice. अच्छा, तीसरा भी अर्थ है. Very often we use karma to mean karma phala. The result of an action is also called karma, commonly. But karma, from a technical sense, why it is because of exercising a choice, is because we human beings have the capability to think, to assess the various options, and pick an option and take an action based on that. This we have. Other species do not have this option. If there's a cow which is dying of hunger, पैर टूट गया उसका, she can't go out to find grass. उसके बगल में there's a rabbit also dying. Will the cow exercise an option कि उसको खा लूं मैं? नहीं करेगा. हम क्या करते हैं? Even when we don't have a situation of death, even when we don't have a situation of self-preservation, we exercise a choice. क्या खाऊं, कब खाऊं, कितना खाऊं, कैसे खाऊं? We exercise as a choice. That becomes karma. Why is the distinction important? Because a karma which you do because you exercise as a choice will produce karma phala. An animal which does the same action will not produce karma phala. We as human beings have the option of deciding ये करना है, ये नहीं करना है, ये इस तरह से करना है. And that has a karma phala. In this topic, we said karma and destiny. Destiny क्या हुआ? हम जिसको डेस्टिनी बोलते हैं, लक बोलते हैं, what is that? It is simply the result of karma done earlier. In this world, there is a cause, something you do, and there is an effect. And there is an infallible connection between these two. There is no action that you do which will not produce a result. And there is no result that you find for which you cannot find an action. But the result that you get are of two types. One is called drishta phala. That means I do an action and I can associate a result with that action. कुछ नहीं, हम लोगों ने भजन गाया अभी. When we finished the bhajan, अच्छा लगा कि नहीं? There was a sense of well-being. The action was singing bhajan. The result that you saw was a certain sense of well-being, a certain sense of satisfaction. This is called drishta phala. But the same action, that bhajan singing, also produces adrishta phala. What is the adrishta phala? That is what's called punya and papa. If you do something, an action, which produces a punya phala, is because you have done an action which is to be done. And when we do an action which is not to be done, which is adharmic, it will produce also a phala, an adrishta phala, which you cannot immediately connect to your action. What is that phala? That phala is you'll be put in a situation which is not so nice. We all experience this. In our lives, we have both drishta phala and adrishta phala. And in the adrishta phala, some are very nice, some are not so nice. एक कहता है मैं आज ऑफिस जा रहा था, आई वॉज वेरी लकी, जैसे ही गया बस आगे बस खाली भी थी, आई वॉज लकी. That day's destiny was that I should get a bus immediately and I took the stop. और दूसरे दिन गया उसी टाइम पे बस निकल गई. I am very unlucky today. ऑफिस जाता लेट हो गया because I missed the bus. और तीसरा कहता है actually I also almost missed the bus. बट क्या हुआ, जैसे मैं वहां पहुंचा एक कलीग आ रहा था गाड़ी में, वो गाड़ी में ले गया मेरे को. लक, व्हाट वी कॉल लक. बट लक कहां से आया? हु प्रोड्यूस्ड दैट लक? हु क्रिएटेड दैट लक? हु क्रिएटेड योर डेस्टिनी? You created it. You created the destiny because for every result that you see, there has to be an action that you have done. Up, you cannot connect it directly. Sometimes you see somebody who's had a tragedy in his life. His son is born deformed. Great tragedy. It's a terrific grief for the parents. और आप सोचते हो यार, आई नो दिस पर्सन, कई सालों से जानता हूँ, इसने किसी का कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ा आज तक. He has not even thought ill of anybody. Why should he get this? This kind of grief, why should he get? These kind of questions come to our mind. But the law of karma is infallible. In fact, another name for the law of karma, karma phala, is satyam. You cannot escape it. अगर आज उसको ये situation of grief आई है, somewhere, somehow he must have done an action which produces this. Today, science has confirmed this. We don't need any confirmation of science. It is all there in our own Shastra. But हम लोग का इतना brain washing हो गया ना, we want endorsement from science. You don't need an endorsement from science. But science does say there is something called a chaos theory, which says there is nothing which is random in this world. Everything has a cause. ये तो हमारे शास्त्रों में लिखा है. But science is now today discovering this. In fact, you might have heard of an effect called the butterfly effect. सुना होगा आपने? They could dramatically put this by saying, if a butterfly flutters its wings in Mexico, you might have a tornado or a tsunami in Japan. Apparently, there's no connection. But mathematically, they've shown that it's possible. यही बात हम भी बता रहे हैं. Everything that you see has a cause, which you have created. And that cause you've created is called karma. But sir, Swami ji, मैंने आज तक तो जिंदगी में 50 साल I've never done anything wrong. कभी तो क्या होगा? नहीं तो ये इफेक्ट कहाँ से आएगा? If not in this janma, previous janma, you're carrying it forward. It is not possible that you get into a situation of very nice or very unpleasant without your having created yourself. Luck कहते हैं हम लोग, destiny कहते हैं. कोई वहाँ पे बैठा हो थोड़ी है, वो कह रहा है कि वो this fellow, I don't like his face. उसको give him some unpleasant situation. This fellow, he's a good guy. उसको give, there is no such entity. It is our own creation. We do what we do and we get the result of that. The issue is because we are not able to connect the result with our action. Therefore, Shastra says these are called adrishtaphala. In every language, in every religion, they say this. But my suspicion is they say it without understanding. They say, as you sow, so you shall reap. कितना उनको ये बात समझ आई, I don't know. But everybody says that. जैसे करनी वैसे भरनी. But if you look at within this one janma, you may not be able to find the connection. It is elsewhere. तो ये जो हम कर्म की बात करते हैं, this is to be understood as a word which is technical in its usage. See, in India, all of us are used to hearing words like karma, dharma, atma, moksha, vedanta. सुना है, बचपन से सुनते आ रहे हैं ये words. And over a time, we formulate some idea कि क्या है ये, कर्म क्या है, धर्म क्या है, वेदांता क्या है, आत्मा क्या है. Usually very vague. We don't have a clear idea. But we all have an idea. We think we have a pretty good idea. But when you start to think about it, you don't. Same thing happens with karma. We have an idea. But what it actually means, we don't really have a clear idea. And when you say karma, there are 3 types of actions that you can do which constitute karma. You can do karma which is kayika karma, which is a physical action. So when you do puja, for example, you do archana, you put in flowers, you light a lamp. All these are physical actions called kayika karma. The same example you take of the fellow kicking another fellow, the actual kicking is a kayika karma. But उसके thought आते हैं उसके मन में, that is manasika karma. I am going to kick this fellow. That is called manasika karma. In the example of a puja, it will be when you do japa. when you do a silent prayer, only mentally. And then there is also something called Vachika Karma. Vachika Karma is when you pronounce some mantras, when you do a shloka, all are puja vidhi only, but all three types of karma are there. All these karmas will produce karma phala. Without doubt, even an intention is a karma. Something you say is a karma. Something you physically do is also karma. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, there are in the 17th chapter, 3 particular verses which talks about what is manasika karma and how you should perform your manasika karma. Anudvega karam vakyam, etc. It says. What is kayika karma and how you should perform kayika karma. And what is vachika karma and how you should perform vachika karma. Bhagavad Gita has answers for everything. Even for this, there are verses which you understand, it tells you what each of these karmas are, what you should do. When you do a karma, you ask yourself, why do I do this karma? There are several reasons why we pick up a karma. We want an end result. I am doing a particular karma because I want an end result. I want to, for example, earn certain amount of wealth. So I do this karma because I want to earn this wealth. I do this karma because I want to earn a promotion in my job. Or if you're a student, I do this because I want to pass my exam well. There's an end purpose. But when you start doing the karma, take the last example, you want to do well in an exam, one clear this thing is you have to study. And the assumption is that if I study, which is a karma I do, I will produce this drishta phala. But between the karma and the karma phala, there's a long distance. The slip between the cup and the lip. A student has studied thoroughly everything. On the day of the exam, he or she has a severe headache. Can you control it? Nothing you can do. And because of that severe headache, the person does not do the exam very well. Despite the fact that the person has done all the karma that he needs to do, the result does not come. The child goes to the school or college to write the exam. And as the child sits down to write the exam, it goes blank. What can you do? You're not going to get the result that you thought you would get. Or the day of the exam, the auto that he's going in gets into an accident. क्या करेगा? Between the karma phala that you get, which we call destiny, luck, everything, but really karma phala. This talk should be called karma and karma phala. There are 3 types of factors which connect these two. What are they? I know that there are certain factors which if I follow, it will produce this end result. And these factors I can identify and I can largely control. In the same example, the student knows that if I study and work hard, I will get good control in the exam. These are only one set of factors. But as we saw, it doesn't always work that way. in everything, whether it's at office, at home, everywhere. I set out to do something which I want to achieve, and I work backwards कि ये करना है मेरे को. That still doesn't produce the result necessarily, because there is a second set of factors which you know, but you have no control over. Same exam ले लो. Many of the exams are marked on the basis of relative marking. This student has done his or her studies as best as he or she can do. पता चला कि others have done much better. You know it can happen, but you can't control it. You have no control over it. That's true of everything. You are in business. You want to achieve a certain end result. You work on that end result. You know that if the government changes, all your planning goes to get washed out. You know that, but you can't do anything about it. You can't stop that. So another set of factors are there which you know, but you also know that you have no control over them. See? There is also a third set of factors. These are factors you don't even know will affect your end result. No question of control, because you don't even know what the factors are. So the end result that you get is not dependent only on the first factors, which you have some control over, but on the factors 2 and factors 3, on which you have little or no control. In a situation like this, if we understand this, we need to only look at what Bhagavan has to say. You have choice and control over what you do. You are not the author of the result. Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. In the result that you produce, you don't have control. You are not the author. You are an author of the karma you do. You can do the karma in a certain way, you can do it in a different way, you cannot do it at all. All that is under your control. But what happens as a result of the karma that you do, the karma phala, you have little or no control. Bhagavan says, you do what you have to do. To be done karma, kartavyam. That is what you are supposed to do. As what? In the various roles that you play. You have to do certain karma as a human being, as a mother or father, as a daughter or son, as a neighbor, as a citizen. You do all that to be done. In the old days, these karmas were prescribed in the Veda. That if you are a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya by guna, these are things you're supposed to do. If you are a brahmachari, you are a grahastha, you are a vanaprasthi, or you are a sannyasi, this is what sannyasi doesn't have any duty. Other three. This is what you're supposed to do. But in today's world, you can think of it in terms of the roles that you play. And then, whatever results you get, then you do the best you can. Why do you do the best you can? Because you do the karma as an offering to Ishvara. ये मेरा कर्तव्य है, मैं करूंगा as an offering to Ishvara. When you have bhakti, you offer it to your Guru, you offer it to Ishvara, and say, this is what I am supposed to do. I will do it. I will do it to the best of my ability. Then what happens? some results will come. I have offered my karma to Ishvara or my Guru as Ishvara Arpita Karma. मैंने अर्पण कर दिया. I do the best I can. Why do you do the best I can? Simple example. आप पूजा कर रहे हो, गुरु के लिए कर रहे हो, ईश्वर के लिए कर रहे हो. You go and get some flowers from the garden. Will you pick up flower which is withered? No. Because it is to be offered to Ishvara. You'll only pick up the newly blossomed flower. In your karma also the same thing you do. Because it is an offering to my Guru, my Ishvara, I will do the best I can. I will not slack on that. And having done that, the result I get, since I have understood that it is not my doing, there is Ishvara, who is the karma phala data, who actually makes sure that karma phala which you get. Therefore, whatever results I get, after I have done the best I can, I accept as Ishvara Prasada. Therefore, my karma and my karma phala, on both, my attitude is Ishvara Arpita Karma and Ishvara Prasada Phala. If one can take this stand, then there are no or very minimal stresses in life. We started by saying every karma will have karma phala. Every karma will have drashta phala and adrashta phala. And if we don't have this attitude, what happens? I am always worried about karma phala. I am worried about the fear of failure. I am worried about what others will say. I am always under stress. If I can do my karma in a fashion that relieves me of these stresses, then I'm a much more contented person. I'm not saying you don't aim high, because any karma you do, you must have a target. Otherwise, why would you do any karma at all? You have a target. And target should be good. But the attitude towards karma and karma phala, that if it is clear, then you can perform this action with minimal stress. And when you perform under minimal stress, you will also do it very well. You will be more efficacious. You are not under pressure at any point, either because worrying where I'm doing the right thing, worrying about what will happen to the result, nothing. Karma and karma phala have to be understood for what they are. Now, in life, we do many types of karma. And these karma, sometimes knowingly we do, sometimes we do unknowingly. A simple example. When you're walking, you don't know how many insects you step on. It is papa karma. How can it be papa karma? I don't have a choice. I have to go there. You can be like some of the Jain munis. तो ऐसे बांध लेते हैं. Bacteria won't go in. और आगे फूक फूक करके, and then only put a step forward. Like that, there are many things we do. One day when I was with my Guruji, one lady came to him and said, Swamiji, I've committed great papa. She was crying. Swamiji asked him what happened. Asked her what happened. And she said, there were bed bugs in my house. Now, if you have bed bugs, you have to get rid of them. So she said, I had to kill all of them. which is crime. What is the way you can get rid of this? Lord? See, some things you've done knowingly, some things you've done unknowingly, but these are karma which are going to produce in effect. The Swamiji told her, don't cry. You have done it because you had to protect yourself. So what do? You do some other karma which can offset some of the karma phala that you get because you have done papa karma knowingly or unknowingly. So he told her, plant and water plants and look after them. That's good karma. Somewhere the effect will be there. Feed birds and animals. Good karma will have an effect. In fact, in our tradition, in our culture, we never eat without first feeding another being. आप लोग भी करते होगे. A crow comes to the house, we feed. In fact, in the old days, villages में लोग रहते थे. They would wait outside, कोई तो आए. उसको पहले खाना खिलाएं, फिर हम खाएं. That was the tradition. In fact, हम लोग अतिथि की बात करते हैं. Who is an अतिथि? It is अतिथि, the one who comes without a prior appointment. लोग चल के जाते थे, जहाँ पे जाएं, जहाँ रुक जाएं, they will stop and they will be given water to cleanse themselves, they will be fed before the household eats. हमारे आश्रम में भी lot of people come. In fact, a lot of children come in the morning at the time when you do puja. And there are a few squirrels and a few birds which come in the morning. So हम लोग, before we sit down to eat the prasada, which is breakfast, we first feed them. And if we forget to feed them, they will make a racket. Where is my prasadam? That is the tradition. Then first feed. That's positive karma. So what happens is that the karma that you've done, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly, you can offset partially, if not completely, by doing other karma, which is positive karma. That is why in our tradition, we are told to do a lot of nitya naimittika karma. What is nitya karma? Every day you light a lamp. You have an altar. You light a lamp. You do a small puja. You recite some shlokas. This is nitya karma. Now, many times what we do is when we do nitya karma also, we say, hey Bhagwan, मेरे को ये देना, मेरे को इससे बचाना, मेरे बच्चे की रक्षा करना. Individual specific requirements we place in front of the deity. And that prayer, because it has a sankalpa saying that मेरे को ये चाहिए, will produce the result, some result in that direction. But when you're asked to do nitya naimittika karma, there is no sankalpa. यहाँ पे I don't see so much, but people who have Janeo, they are supposed to do Trisandhya karma, called Sandhya Vandanam. No asking for anything. It is just something you're supposed to do. As a brahmachari, after you've got your Upanayana, you're supposed to do this 3 times a day. At the morning Sandhya, noon and evening Sandhya time. And that is designed to help relieve you of the burden of some of the papa karma phala that we carry with us. See, remember this. Every karma produces karma phala. Sometimes we don't know which karma produces which karma phala. But we know it produces karma phala. Therefore, you do another karma which also produces a positive karma phala, which will hopefully reduce the burden of that. That is why we are prescribed nitya naimittika karma. Nitya karma is, like I said, things you do daily. डेली पूजा, डेली संध्या वंदनम, डेली अग्निहोत्रा. अग्निहोत्र कोई नहीं करता आजकल, but those are prescribed karmas. And naimittika karma. Naimittika karma are which are done at specified intervals, regular intervals. Those are also prescribed karma, also meant partially to offset any negative karma one might have done during this lifetime. Like I said, this karma can be vachika, kayika, or it can be manasika. It can be mental karma, it can be spoken karma, it can be karma that is done. When you do meditation, when you do dhyanam, when you do japa, it's all mental. When you chant anything, when you do bhajan, when you chant Bhagavad Gita, you chant any Ramayana, these are all vachika karma. All part of the same puja. And when you actually perform the puja, light a lamp, do archana, do arti, etc., these are physical actions. All this will produce certain karma phala. Let me bring it down to what is the situation today and how we can use this. This karma that you do every day, like I said, will partially, if not completely, erase the negative effects of karma that I might have done. But what is the yuga we are sitting in? Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga mein, we are about 5,000 some odd years into Kali Yuga. Just beginning. The whole Kali Yuga lasts 432,000 years. तो अभी बहुत बाकी है. एंड कलियुगा में वी नो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. मैं जहाँ भी जाता हूँ, किसी मित्रों से बात करता हूँ, तो यही कहते हैं बड़ा खराब है. जहाँ देखो ये प्रॉब्लम, जहाँ देखो ब्राइबरी, जहाँ देखो करप्शन है. सच बात है, कलियुगा है. तो क्या करें? देयर इज वन उपनिषद कॉल्ड कलि संदर्शन उपनिषद. हाउ डू यू क्रॉस कलियुगा? What do you do during Kali Yuga? And it says, in Kali Yuga, the best thing you can do is Nama Japa. In fact, the Japa that is prescribed in this particular Upanishad is Rama Nama Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Oh, these ISKCON have picked it up from here and reversed it, and they sing Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Rama 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 Hare Hare. But really the Upanishad is that. It doesn't matter. And that they're doing is very good. That they realize that, maybe the Guru realized that in this Kali Yuga, we have to do this. In Guruji's words, we have to do. Everywhere you go to a Sai meeting, there's always bhajans. And that's also Nama Sankirtan only. We are repeating the Lord's name. अभी मैं ऋषिकेश में था for महाशिवरात्रि. All day and night, all we did was Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. It's all repeated over and over and over again. Just Nama Japa. There is also in Vishnu Purana, also says the same thing. That in Treta Yuga, you do various types of yajna, etc. In Dwapara Yuga, you do certain pujas. In Kali Yuga, Kalao, only do Nama Sankirtan. Because nothing else becomes very easy to do in Kali Yuga. That is karma. And that karma will produce a karma phala, which hopefully will offset a lot of the negatives that we do. In the first place, our attempt is not to do negative karma. but sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes, in the name of development, we do a lot of karma which is not so nice. Starting from cutting trees because I want to widen the road, through to many others. And many other things we do without even knowing that I'm creating this papa karma. So when you get into that kind of situation, this Kali Yuga Nama Sankirtanam is what is recommended for us to help us relieve ourselves of this kind of negative burden. When you perform certain karma this year, this janma, but you don't see the result necessarily in this janma. You might see it later. Same way, when a person is born, if he is born to the king of Brunei, materially he has no shortage. That is some form of punya only. Material comfort is unlimited. But that punya will not give him anything, get him anywhere near moksha. No chance. Another type of punya another child might have done is born in the form of as a child of a Dikshidhar family. And therefore access to this knowledge and therefore to moksha from very childhood. Another type of punya. There are all different types of punya, which, when was this done? The child is just born. Child has no control of where the child is going to be born, who is going to be born, what kind of family is going to be born. It has got to come from previous lives. So this karma phala is not restricted to this janma. That is where a lot of people make an error. He is getting such a bad situation, sorrowful situation, but उसने कुछ नहीं किया अभी तक, कहीं तो किया होगा. Similarly, a person who has done only bad karma or negative karma somehow seems to enjoy life. उसका फल कहीं ना कहीं तो आएगा. Not in this janma, some other janma. When we are born with what is called prarabdha karma. That is, from our bank of accumulated karma, a certain portion is allocated for the janma, for which you take a particular type of body. Manushya Sharira could be an animal Sharira, could be a Deva Sharira, could be any Sharira. Appropriate for the kind of karma that has been allocated, karma phala that has been allocated. That body has to go through all that, the body and the mind has to go through all that. And once it is exhausted, then the body falls. So sometimes you think, this child lived only 5 years. छोटा सा कर्म फल था, निकल गया, खत्म हो गया. Body is not required anymore. This body is not required anymore. Somebody continues to 70, 80, that karma phala has to be exhausted. Come with a certain karma phala. So in our hands, what is there is only this, that we consciously do karma, live a life of dharma, so that my next janma, I get closer to a position from where I can gain moksha. Karma doesn't give you moksha directly, but karma prepares you for that moksha. If not in this janma, next janma. Not in janma, next janma after that. It doesn't matter. So the lesson that we have to learn is only this. If I understand what is karma, I understand what is karma phala, all that I have to do, you may already be doing it, but without realizing what you're doing. That I live a life of dharma. I live a life where I consciously do positive karma, both to eliminate some of the negative effects of my previous negative karma and to prepare me for the next Janma, in which I am hopefully going to get a position closer and more accessible to moksha. Ultimately, all we are seeking is moksha. There is another topic which I hope sometime in another session we'll take up. Very big topic. What is moksha? But for the immediate present, all we have to do is understand karma, karma phala, and why I should do karma of a certain nature, why I should live a life of a certain nature, all because I want eventually to gain a situation where I can hope to get closer to getting moksha. Therefore, all these bhajans we do, wonderful thing. In fact, some of the key words I've seen in Sai Baba's thing, harm none, help all. Beautiful. You don't create any himsa. You're only looking at saying, what is it that I can do positively? Very nice, catchy little things if we absorb. We can make our life that much more conducive to eventually getting moksha. With that little, I don't want to exceed my time. I hope there is some greater clarity on the idea of karma and karma phala, which we call destiny.